Hello beginner, returning, or veteran bards. Welcome to another guide video. This video will address the changes brought by the recent support balance patch. For basic guides, please consider watching other guide videos. Bard has three major changes: engraving, enlightenment, and skill. First, let's have a look at the changes in engravings. Now it is worth reading relic engraving recipes because it now gives reduced cooldown. Drops of ether is also reworked so that you no longer feel sad for taking the strength or crit orbs. Now, we drop 2 ethers. One for allies and the other for you. Strength and crit orb got useful to supports as it gives tiny heal or higher stagger buff. Looking at the optional engravings, the explosive expert got an interesting rework. It not only gives you more chance to use grenades and bombs but also a chance to not spend the grenade and bomb you've used. So by chance, you get to use a free grenade or bomb, but still I would just go with the classic way and choose heavy armor. Next, let's have a look at the changes in Enlightenment. There are 3 new things in Enlightenment: Harmony, major and minor chords, and Perfect Harmony. Harmony is what you gain after you use your bubbles. You gain 2 harmony stacks per bubbles you've used, so 1 bubble means 2 harmony stacks and 3 bubbles means 6 harmony stacks. After using your bubbles you get to make a choice. You can either pick major chord or minor chord. These chords grant you 1 harmony stacks. It gives either a damage increase buff or a bubble gauge refund according to the amount of bubbles you've spent. Now what happens when you pile up these stacks? You get Perfect Harmony. To trigger Perfect Harmony, you need 7 harmony stacks from using bubbles and chords. Now the math is simple and easy when you use 3 bubble courage. You get 6 stacks from the 3 bubble courage and 1 stack from the chord, adding up to 7 stacks. It gets a bit complicated when you use 1 or 2 bubbles, but we'll get to this a bit later. So what effect does Perfect Harmony has? When activated, you get bonuses for your next 7 skills. First, you get 10% cooldown refund, and second, the skill only takes half of its needed mana. Due to this, Bard is now free from the max MP increase engraving. And she may also increase spec stats a bit more. Now let's dive deeper and do some math. In a big deal time when the boss stays still or there is a reward buff after a mechanic, you just need to use 3 bubble courage and major chord. It gives the biggest buff to party members and you reach Perfect Harmony without doing any math. It's simple and easy. Just keep in mind that you cannot get harmony stacks until you've fully used your Perfect Harmony stacks, so giving 1 bubble heal during Perfect Harmony does not give you 2 harmony stacks. In a normal deal time, when a big deal time is expected afterwards, you will use 3 bubble courage and minor chord. This is because you need that serenade gauge refund so that you fill 3 bubbles as soon as possible. But what happens when you use 1 or 2 bubbles? Like when ally needs heal or when you unfortunately only have 2 bubbles in a deal time? You need do some makeups and risk losses. After using 1 bubble heal, use minor chord. No need for a 8-second 1% damage increase buff when you can get some gauge refund. This will give you 3 harmony stacks. To reach Perfect Harmony you now need 4 stacks. So you will now use 2 or 3 bubbles to make up for that, but you will inevitably face some loss. When you use 2 bubbles, you will get to use a chord and this will mean 1 stack is overflown. When you use 3 bubbles and a following chord, you will lose 3 stacks in vain. Well, this does not mean that you should not heal your ally nor that you should not use 2 bubble courage. But Bard now kind of has a shackle on that incentivizes you to use 3 bubble courage to reach high performance. Last but not least, skills. Let's have a look at the essential ones first. Heavenly Tune now has paralysis immunity. So some bards now choose Quick Charge Rune or Focus Rune rather than Gale Wind. There are no changes to Sonic Vibration, Guardian Tune, Wind of Music, and Rhapsody of Light. Rhythm Buckshot is no longer an optional skill. It got a huge buff as a serenade meter filler. There are more changes to the optional skills. Bard now takes 1 note brand skill just like other supports. Because the note brand duration has increased, Sonatina's duration has doubled to 10 seconds. but it partly lost its gauge filling ability. You still have to be cautious not to get cancelled since it does not have any immunity. Sound Shock also got longer note brand duration. Along with the cooldown and mana changes, you will now feel less busy than before. Sound Shock also got a meter filling buff. But it is not that substantial. It is still not a skill that you expect to fill up the meter. Harp of Rhythm also got longer note brand duration, but it is still limited since it has high risk of getting cancelled when hit by boss attacks and since it is useless when boss moves out of its range. Prelude of Storm got huge nerf as a Serenade meter filler. I think the developers wanted to relieve Bard's dependence on Prelude of Storm on meter filling and divide the burden to Rhythm Buckshot. Soundholic also got huge buff as a Serenade meter filler, and there are some changes in tripods. So make sure you check it. To sum up, you will take 6 of these essential skills with you at all times. And you will pick 2 skills among the optional skills. One from the brand skills and the other from the meter filler skills. In conclusion, Bard got an interesting patch. I think she now has even more gap between her full potential and her bottom performance. Even though she now takes only one brand skill, her brand skills have no paralysis immunity, meaning it is easy for her note brand to be cut off during combat. She also has a 3-bubble shackle on that incentivizes 3-bubble courage and discourages 1 or 2 bubble usage. But due to the changes in her skills, I think she can better deal with gimmicks such as counters, destruction, and stagger. On top of that, I love that she does not anymore require max MP increase engraving thanks to the changes in Enlightenment.